You might have seen this story blow up online not too long ago. A 19-year-old in Indonesia earning 50 million rupiahs a month. The internet, well, it pretty much lost its mind. A ton of people called it impossible, a total fantasy. But is it really? Let's get into it, because what's actually going on here is way more interesting than the outrage. So, this is the question that started it all, right? Is it actually realistic for someone that young, with no degree, no long career history, to be making that kind of money? Now, if you're thinking about a typical job in Indonesia, the answer is probably not. It's almost unheard of. And that's exactly where the entire conversation got derailed.
You see, here's the critical piece of information everyone missed. This wasn't about someone working for a local company. No, they were working remotely for a company based in the United States. And that one tiny detail, well, it changes absolutely everything. It's not apples to apples. It's a completely different game.
And that brings us to the secret ingredient, the reason this whole thing is even possible. It's what we can call the global income gap. And trust me, it's not just some boring economic term. For people who get it, it's a massive, massive opportunity.
Okay, so let's put some numbers on this to make it real. To be in the top 1% of earners in Indonesia, we're talking the wealthiest of the wealthy, you'd need to make around 3.1 billion rupiah a year. That's a huge amount of money by local standards, right? Seems like an impossibly high bar. Now, just hold that number in your head for a second.
Because to be in the top 1% in the United States, you need to be making around 70 billion rupiahs a year. That is more than 20 times higher. The difference is just staggering. What might be considered an amazing top-tier salary in Jakarta could literally be a standard starting salary for a junior position in a city like San Francisco. So you have to shift how you're looking at this. You have to stop seeing it as just a difference in income and start seeing it for what it truly is, an opportunity gap. This is the chance to earn a world-class salary while living with a local cost of living. And the key to unlocking that door, it's more accessible today than it has ever been before. So the big question is, how do you get in on this? Well, the engine driving this whole revolution is remote work. It's that simple. Thanks to technology and, a huge shift in how we think about work after the pandemic, global companies are hiring the best people they can find no matter where they live. And look, here's the proof. The rules of hiring have changed. A big 2023 survey of global companies found that 70% of them now care more about provable skills than they do about a traditional resume or a fancy degree. They don't really care where you went to school. They just care about what you can do. So, what kinds of jobs are we actually talking about here? It's any job where the output is digital. We're talking software engineers, quality assurance testers, recruiters, business analysts, sales and digital marketing pros, and a whole bunch of creative roles like video editors and designers. These are all in super high demand all over the world. Okay, so we've established the opportunity is real. But let's be honest, how do you actually get there? This isn't something that happens overnight. It takes a real plan, a dedicated strategy. Let's call it your 3-year game plan to go from zero to globally employable. All right, here's the roadmap. Step 1. For about 2 years, you just go deep. You pick one high-demand skill and you master it. Forget everything else, just get really, really good at that one thing. Step 2 is all about proof. You build your digital footprint, a GitHub account for coders, and Instagram or Behance for designers. This becomes your evidence. And finally, step 3. You start targeting jobs with a low barrier to entry. Look for those junior roles that ask for just 1 to 2 years of experience, which, guess what? Your 2 years of deep learning and portfolio building now qualify you for. And I really can't say this enough. For this new world of work, your portfolio is your new resume. A link to your code on GitHub that's clean and functional is 1,000,000 times more powerful than a piece of paper that says you studied computer science. Show, don't tell. Now, having those hard skills, that's what gets your foot in the door. It gets you the interview. But if you want to move from just being qualified to being highly paid, there's another set of skills you absolutely have to master. Let's talk about English. And I don't just mean any English. Look, there's a huge difference between being able to have a casual conversation and having professional business English. You need the language of global commerce. Can you confidently lead a business meeting? Can you handle a sales negotiation? Can you write a professional executive summary? That skill, right there, can dramatically increase how much you can earn. So it all comes down to this high-income trio. Number 1, business English. It's the universal language of business. Number 2, negotiation skills, so you can actually ask for what you're worth and get it.
And number 3, administration, just the basics of understanding international contracts, how payments work, and what the tax situation is. This is what makes you a true professional, not just a casual freelancer.
What this all really boils down to is a simple shift in your mindset. It's so easy to be cynical and just say, oh, that's impossible. And when you do that, the story ends. But if you change the question and instead ask, how is that possible? Well, that's when you start researching, you start learning, and you start finding the way.
So no, that 50 million rupiah salary isn't some crazy myth. It's a very real possibility, one that's been unlocked by huge global shifts in how we work. The opportunities are out there, and they're open to anyone who is willing to put in the smart, focused work to get there. The world is hiring. So I guess the only real question left is, are you ready to apply?